Everybody, welcome into this week's edition of the Coach O Show. My name is Ryan Beckman, joined as always by the head coach of the Wildcats, Chris Ostrowski. Coming up on this week's show, we take a look back at the Wildcats game against the Findlay Oilers. We'll hear from Coach on that, take a look at highlights. We'll talk with running backs Jake Mayon, Aaron Harris, and put a wrap on the 2015 season and look ahead to the offseason for the Wildcats. But first of all, Coach, let's talk about the final game of the 2015 season on the road down to Findlay. Unfortunately, a 45-42 loss for the Wildcats as the Oilers connecting on a field goal as time expired, but another one of those close games for the Wildcats.
How about that? Yeah, I can't believe the season's over. It's flown by. I mean, this really has just flown by. Findlay, good football program, like we talk about, and I think it just came down to who made the last play. With that being said, it's a game where you feel like you got to come home with that W, and it gives us great motivation as we get into our off season and matriculate through winter conditioning, spring football, and all the things we do.
Well, the rushing performance, the best of the season for the Wildcats, 234 yards on the ground. Jake Mayon, who we'll talk to in just a little bit, 134 of those yards, but the run game on Saturday was phenomenal for you guys.
Yeah, I think you got to be good enough in today's football to understand change. If you're going to be a team that is committed to pounding a rock, they're going to take it away from you. If you're going to be a team that's committed to throwing the football, they're going to throw it away from you. And you got to have the versatility within what you're doing offensively to be successful. I think scheme-wise, that was what we thought they would do. They did that, and I'm so proud of our guys up front. First of all, our offensive line, who are really well coached, who are really physical, and are doing a great job. And our three running backs, really, and Aaron Harris, who you have on the show, Jake Mayon, and Terrence Dye, just made up a three-headed monster, and they did a great job.
The passing game pretty good too on Saturday, 234 yards, 3 touchdowns. Shea Brown setting the single season record for passing yards in the game as well.
Yeah, pretty consistent. Yeah. I think from an offensive perspective, we've been really consistent, and I think the approach has been good. Players have executed. It's been a lot of fun.
How about on the defensive side of things? What did you see against Findlay on Saturday?
We came up with a couple great stops. Had that really big turnover that equaled some points. Good offense, Findlay. Outstanding quarterback. Slings it around the field and did some things athletically. I thought they were really good, but I thought we competed and hung in there.
Absolutely, and real quick, special teams from your standpoint.
For us, special teams is always a strong point for us. I think we do a great job putting our guys on the field and creating advantages in our special teams. With that being said, we've missed some field goals here that have hurt us, and we're aware of those.
All right, Coach. More on this game as the Coach O Show continues. We'll take a break. We'll talk with Jake Mayon and Aaron Harris when the show continues right after this.
The Coach O Show is sponsored by
Welcome back to the Coach O Show. Our guests this week, pair of running backs for the Wildcats, Aaron Harris and Jake Mayon joining us. Nice to have you both on the program. And let's start first of all, get your thoughts on the game against Findlay this past Saturday. Aaron, we'll start with you. Your thoughts from the game?
My thoughts for the game were, definitely throughout the week, we definitely prepared ourselves. Coach O expresses himself every single week. We got to go in every single game. Not even just the Findlay week, but every single game, we have to prepare ourselves mentally and physically, and I think that's what we did throughout the week. And but as far as the game ending not the way we expected it to, sometimes it goes from maybe rest robbing the game or us not doing what we need to do. At the end of the day, a loss is a loss, but we definitely got to come back next year and do things differently.
And Jake, career day for you, 134 yards and a couple of touchdowns for the Wildcats. Talk about the game from your standpoint.
We had to create an opportunity for ourselves. That's what Coach stresses all week long. It was a hard-fought battle. They're a really good team, but I believe we played very well. But sometimes we come out on the shorter side. But we should be able to come back from that this season and keep on progressing and correct all our little mistakes that we made, so we don't have those little shortcomings. And we just need to create opportunities for ourselves.
When you guys look back at the season, Aaron, let's start with you. What comes to mind when you look back at this season overall for the Wildcats?
When I look back at the season, it's like I look forward. Well, coming into the season, I look forward to having a great college season. Honestly, you really can't come into a season expecting we're going to go undefeated or we're going to lose every single game. It's like you got to go day by day, practice by practice, and then game by game. From the beginning, since camp started, I was like, this looks like a really good team we have from coach's standpoint, from the player standpoint, from everybody else. And then once it gets to game time, it's basically, we all came together and did what we had to do in order to come up either a short game, which is not acceptable, but even the games we did win, which would, was a good point. But as far as that, it was a good feeling to have.
And Jake, as a freshman, what was that like for you this year? What was some of the adjustments you had to go through to get the feel for college football?
Yeah, there was a little adjustments, like the speed of the game and everything, but I enjoyed it a lot. It was pretty much a smooth transition for me. I was here in the summertime, so I got to meet up with a lot of guys and get to know how the field is throughout the season and everything. So I got to create a bond with those guys. And throughout the season, I felt like we have a lot of key players and everything to keep it going. We had a strong season, I believe. We just have to keep things moving and keep doing what we do the Wildcat way. So.
And Aaron, real quick here, what were some of the keys for the Wildcats heading into the offseason?
For the offseason, I would say as a team standpoint, I would say, to build each other's, character and, get to know each other a little bit more. Because I'm not saying within one season, that's basically not even a semester long,
Sure.
We have to get to know each other, a little bit more, because if you get to know the next person next to you, then it's like, okay, I get to know maybe he's going through a different situation than I'm going through. So it's like, maybe I can help him out in a different way going on in the long run.
Gotcha. Appreciate it, Jake and Aaron. Appreciate your time. All right, we'll take a break. We'll get the video highlights next on the Coach O Show. We continue on the Coach O Show. Time now to look at video highlights from the Wildcats game against the Findlay Oilers. We'll start with the offensive highlights. Nearly 500 yards of offense on Saturday, Coach. 6 touchdowns, so lots of highlights as usual for this Wildcat offense.
Not bad. Not bad. I think we're creating some mismatches, trying to be as multiple as we can be in formation. This is a great example for you. As the season ends, we're in a 2-back set. Both Aaron and Jake in the backfield. We go to a 2-by-2 set in the boundary, and all we're doing is running some base stuff out of it within the run game, and just a great cut, great understanding of how to fit it, and then obviously up front getting a hat on a hat and creating some movement, and just a really good touchdown play.
Yeah, we talked with Jake just a couple minutes ago. What did you see from him here in his freshman season, the growth that he brought to this football team?
Well, I think that the biggest thing is with both guys is they're really good boys. Mm-hmm. They're guys that are always on time. They're always accountable. They're hard workers, and they happen to be really gifted players. And both went about their business. Jake had a great start for us, and then had a little injury go on, and then got right back into it. And I think the best part about us was we didn't need one guy to carry the whole load,
sure.
And that carried us through the season. But just really thrilled with Jake, both kids, and excited to see them grow in the program. Again, just a back view, and if you see this here with this running game, this is really the best view when you're running the football to take a look at some things. And again, we get him out of the box a little bit. So once the motion happens, you see the outside, the linebacker there, and he's in the box right there. So when we say box, we mean the tackle box. Once we motion him, we create a disadvantage. Now there's no longer a B-gap defender, which is the defender to the hole we're running it through. I can be a little bit more specific. The season's over now. So,
sure.
It's a touchdown. That's a great play.
And then this one down in the red zone once again.
Yep, down in the red zone again, and trying to create some understanding with motion. What motion does for everyone at home, when you run in motion, it gives the quarterback a good indication of what coverage they're playing in regards to whether they're bracket coverage, zone coverage, or man. We feel good they're man coverage here. There's 3 over 3. They're playing the quarterback a little bit, and that's a pretty good touchdown.
Absolutely, and 3 rushing touchdowns for the Wildcats on the afternoon as well.
Terrence Dye, who's just a wonderful kid, and I'm going to miss him, and he'll be around. And really great to see him get in the end zone here.
Absolutely, and his final game as a Wildcat for sure.
Yeah, his final game as a Cat, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now we get ourselves right back on the 1 yard line, and we're going to do almost the same thing out of a different formation. So instead of going from 2x2 to 3x1, by 3x1 to 2x2, and it's really as many different looks and doing the same things as you can. We pull scheme this time and almost run a trap, so we're down, kick out, and that's a pretty good thing. That's
Absolutely.
pretty good design, pretty good execution. That's good 30 years ago. That's good today. It's touchdown.
Absolutely, offensive line doing their job, opening some holes for Jake Mayan to punch the football in there as well.
And as you see it from this vantage, this is a really good job getting in the end zone there, and that's good football play.
Yeah, and the offense we talk about each week, just the consistency with what you guys have done. I think over the last 7-8 weeks of the season, 30-plus points, at 40 points a couple of times, 2 or 3 times in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. You try to do as much quality control as you can, Ryan. And what I mean by that is at the end of the season, you try to do a little bit more than just opinions and what you thought you saw. You actually kind of break it down, and it is extraordinary to see just how efficient, how disciplined, how many categories were in the top 5 in the league, and then in the top 15, top 20, top 25 nationally. You want to take more than 5 home with you in regards to wins.
Right.
But a really, really nice football season for us and that side of the football for sure.
Absolutely. We'll take a break. Defensive highlights next, right here on the Coach O Show.
The Coach O Show is sponsored by
Back here on the Coach O Show, as we continue looking at the highlights of the Wildcats game against the Findlay Oilers. Turn our attention to the defensive highlights now, and some big plays from the defense on Saturday.
No question. And these are a couple here to really highlight some special guys that are playing with great effort and trying to make plays for their team. This is a good example. They try to get a little misdirection play, a little boot action where they're going to pull the guard opposite. And Dante Holmes does a great job of understanding, recognizing, and then making a really big tackle for loss. TFL is what we call it, and if you're making tackles for loss, you're pretty good on defense. And big play for us right there. Dante's an excellent young man that we're going to miss big time. Big play for us right there.
Yeah, and he was top 10 of the conference in tackles for loss as well this season.
Yeah, a huge category, and he's long, and he's a strong kid. Really plays with a good motor, understands football and leverage, and really was a pleasure kid to coach.
Sure.
Honest to God with that. Okay, so now we get here, and it's a big play for us, and you're talking about back and forth game, and you got to make play. You got to make play. You got to create a turnover, and when you turn the ball over in a game like this, it's critical. And this was a huge moment for us. I believe we went up 42-35 after this play, but we're able to create a turnover on the throw, and then go the length there and score and put us up. So that was a huge play for us defensively. And you see guys just fighting hard. Jordan Hornback flying around a little bit. And then we get a play from Laquan Middleton on the fumble, and we got a football turnover, which was a great play for us.
Yeah, Wildcat defense coming with yet another turnover, creating another turnover.
Yeah, fantastic. And this one I love, and we really see great effort from guys in regards to them working. So I think it's best if we go the other view here. So as you look, you got Dante there, 96. You got Jerry Buxton is 53. 90 is E.J. Phillips, who's a true freshman, and Malik Smith, who is a redshirt freshman. So you're looking at a really great looking group, and then you say, where are we getting these guys? Who are these guys? So you got Malik Smith from House Franciscan in Chicago. You got E.J. Phillips, who was a state champion wrestler from Illinois in the suburbs of Chicago. You got Jerry Buxton, who's from Gladstone, Michigan, right? He's an Upper Peninsula kid. And you got Dante Holmes from Allentown, Pennsylvania. So it's pretty cool, and that's what college football's about.
Sure.
I mean, just great effort, great fight, and we got to get pressure on the quarterback, and you get a sack, and all 4 of them factor in, and that's a great football play.
Yeah, absolutely. And the good news, 3 of the 4 are going to be back next season for you
and
guys.
3 of the 4 of them are back, yeah, and foundation is set, and future's bright, and I can't wait to get going.
Assess overall the defense this season. What did you saw from the defense, the growth, the things that you may need to see improvement in from the defense?
Yeah, I think our defense is young, and I think they're going to continue to grow. We've got guys. It's a tough question, Ryan, because there's not a whole lot in this program that I look at in regards to the offense or the defense or the specials. We don't do that here. We're a program that's based on one. We're based on one voice, one vision, and those guys do the same things we do offensively, work really hard at the craft, and they'll run the football and tackle and do the things good defenses do, and we'll make plays. So overall, it's a tough question to answer, but I love our spirit and I love our fight, and we'll analyze some things just like we do offensively, and we'll evolve and change and move forward.
And you look at it, losing some seniors in the defense, but you've got a lot of key pieces back, like you saw there on the defensive line, some guys at the linebacker spot.
No question. We got those three guys up front. We will return two corners with Chris Washington, Keyshawn Walker. Now they'll be seniors. We'll return Julian Hornback at safety. You saw Terrell Johnson come on and really do well for us at safety. So good stuff. Some guys come back from injury. Matt Boucher comes back at linebacker. Darrell Williams. So that there's going to be a lot of youth that won't be that young anymore, and that's really good.
Yeah, experience is always key. It's always helpful.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll take a break here on the Coach O Show. When we come back, we'll get into the final segment, final thoughts on the 2015 season, a look ahead to the offseason as well for the Wildcats. That's next right here on the Coach O Show. Back here on the Coach O Show, we head to the final segment of the season here on the Coach O Show. And Coach, let's talk about some of the all-conference performers first of all for the Wildcats. Absolutely. Marcus Tucker, first-team all-conference. Levi Perry, Kyle Stuke, Rob Solani, second-team all-conference, and then a handful of guys honorable mention as well for the Wildcats. Yeah,
those four guys are all absolutely deserving. Great ambassadors for the program, very talented football players, and we're absolutely the cream of the crop in their position in the league, no question.
Well, let's talk about now heading into the offseason. What's going to be the focus of this football team as you guys head into winter conditioning and spring ball and get set for next year?
Ryan, there's all stages to a football season. The first thing for me is obviously to reflect on 2015 and do as much quality control as we can in regards to exactly what did we do, how did we actually play, how did we finish, and then analyze those kind of things. Obviously, we want to meet with all our players, make sure we're on the same page, and recruiting is critical. So we got to get on the road and go recruit, and that's the lifeline of every program. The progress that we've made as a program is clear. It's not really subject to opinion. We're superior to where we were, but at the same time, you want to win more football games, and you want to be playing at this time of the year into the playoffs. So as we matriculate through recruiting, we'll get into the winter conditioning phase, and that's really a mindset. That's a critical part of every college football program, and we'll get up early in the morning and do the things that I think we need to do, but with purpose. There's a great understanding of why we're doing things now. Where in the past it was just trying to believe in something, a theme. Sure. Now it's clear, guys. We could be a 10-1 football team here. We could be a 9-2 football team, an 8-3, whatever it is, however you're looking at it, and that's why we're getting up in the morning doing these things. And then we get our 15 practices in the spring, which are always great. And then we'll do some spring recruiting and start on the next group of recruits as we get going for the 2016 season.
Absolutely. And real quick, a lot of young guys coming back, a lot of talent coming back.
Ton of talent coming back. I expect us to have over 80 kids in spring football. I think we had 58 my first spring.
All right, Coach. So appreciate it. It's been a pleasure this year.
Thank you. Go Cats.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this year's edition of the Coach O Show. Big thanks to everybody behind the scenes here at TV3, helping make the Coach O Show look as good as it does. And a big thanks to all of you for tuning in. So long, everybody.
The Coach O Show is sponsored by